This afternoon, we're going to talk about how you're going to manage your students and build learning communities when you're using the hybrid or Hyflex modality. Around 2 years ago, exactly around March 2020, we all learned about the dreadful disease that will change the way we live, the way we do things, the way we relate, and the way we learn. And of course, all of a sudden, we had to shift to a new way of doing things. At the start, we were baffled, scared, and most of the time overwhelmed. Of course, the priority was really to make sure that we remain safe. So we were told that we needed to do physical distancing because the disease is airborne. So COVID-19 can easily be caught. So we had to stop whatever it was we were doing. Lockdowns happened. Schools were closed. All of a sudden, as teachers, we had to transition to remote emergency teaching. Now, if adults found it difficult, okay, it was even more challenging for the children. Why? Why was it challenging for the children? Of course, according to Lohman, Randolph, and O, children need touch and they need to socially interact with other people. And that's very integral in social emotional development. So this means that children need to be physically close to others. They need to make full use of their senses in order to learn and in order to understand and make sense of their world and to be able to relate well with others and at the same time understand themselves as they process their feelings. But because of the lockdown, they couldn't do that. So we all had to resort to traditional online modalities because we needed to continue to educate our students. So we had to think, and be innovative in terms of what we're going to do in order to continue education. So we started to use asynchronous learning for sessions in which all activities are uploaded in the learning management system. So in an instant, we all needed to learn how to navigate our LMS. Students had to learn how to study on their own. And as such, it took a while, but we were able to do it. We had to prepare a lot of modules, look for activities that we could upload in the learning management system. And, as the days progressed, we were becoming more and more at ease in using, the learning management system. So that's for asynchronous learning. And we also had synchronous sessions where lessons are done in real time, just like what we usually do in the classroom. But instead of having classes in the classroom, teaching or learning is done in the virtual space. Okay, so we had to all of a sudden we had to learn how to use the Zoom and make sure that the students are also able to navigate, the learning management system and making sure that they can interact with us uh, in the synchronous sessions. So when the government, okay, through the Department of Education and the Commission on Higher Education, eased the restrictions, another delivery mode is being proposed, and this is hybrid approach. Now, prior to the pandemic, hybrid was referred to face-to-face classroom instruction with computer-based learning. Okay, so you go to school, and then certain parts of your learning or your lessons are done online. Hybrid courses or subjects move significant part of the course learning out online, and as a result, reduces the amount of time spent in the classroom. Now, at this time, The term hybrid describes courses that combine face-to-face classroom instruction with online and offline approaches in and out of the classroom. Hybrid courses move a significant part of the course learning online to reduce the number of students in the classroom. If before the main objective was to reduce the number of time spent in the classroom, now hybrid learning focuses on reducing the number of students in the classroom. This is so that we could abide with the provision that we have limited number of students inside the classroom. So classroom seat time may or may not be reduced. Blended learning, if you're going to compare this with blended learning is an instructional approach that includes a combination of online and in-person learning activities. Okay, so hybrid is a modality, but blended learning is an instructional approach. But of course, the pandemic isn't over yet, so we still continue to use asynchronous classes. So aside from hybrid, we also make sure that the asynchronous sessions remain, okay, and remain to be used, and we have to continuously use it, okay. So let's talk about Hyflex. What is Hyflex? So Hyflex, okay, it's a term coined by Brian Beatty. It stands for a combination of hybrid, meaning alternating between face-to-face meetings and remote interactions, and flexible, meaning students move between these participation options. Either the students would want to take the course or the subject in person, so the student would go to school, or the student would opt to take the course or the subject online. Now, in a Hyflex, subjects or courses are delivered both in person and online at the same time by the same faculty member. So there's only one teacher delivering the lesson, okay, to both groups of students, students who are on site and students who are online. Now, for any given class meeting, some students might participate in person, while others might participate at the same time online. And this is made possible by the use of, certain by equipment or technology. You can have cameras, microphones. You should have a monitor to be able to see the students, speakers, so that you could hear the students participating who are online, and the students online will be able to hear you as well, and the class and their other classmates. Okay, and you also might need other equipment. Now, what is important in Hyflex is that, there is flexibility. Okay, if the student needs to stay at home, for instance, he or she can still participate in the discussion. Now, if the student would want to go to school, it's the same way. So there is flexibility on the part of the students. And what is, again, another important consideration in Hyflex is that it offers students choice. It's always the choice of the students. So basically, how are you going to do this? Just so you're aware, Hyflex has always been used in higher education. Okay, as I've said earlier, Hyflex was introduced by Dr. Beatty as a means to allow graduate students to have the option to continue to attend classes, whether on-site or online. And there has and this has been used primarily in universities or in higher education. And you know, there are certain challenges, but basically I'm sure that, um high flex is now being explored. Hybrid or high flex is now being explored even in the lower grades. Now, there are certain challenges in using high flex. Okay. A study conducted by Ali reported that teachers feel overwhelmed as they attend to the needs of students who are on site and the students who are online. It's really difficult, in a regular class when you are managing, just one set of students. That's all already challenging. However, in high flex, you are managing, two sets of students, those who are on site and those who are online. And sometimes, you experience technology glitches.